Welcome to My Story as It Is, where real stories meet raw truth. Today's story is one of regret, heartbreak, and a lesson learned far too late. It's about a woman who walked away from the man every woman dreamt of, only to find herself trapped in a nightmare she never saw coming. This is her story, unfiltered, emotional, and real, just as it is. I know now that some mistakes don't come with do-overs. Some mistakes just follow you for the rest of your life, like a shadow you can't outrun. This is the story of how I left the man every woman secretly dreamt of because I thought he was too soft, and how I ended up in prison because I couldn't tell the difference between love and control. Let me take you back to when I had everything I ever needed and walked away from it. Charles was perfect. Not perfect in the glossy Instagram boyfriend way, not the six-pack, cocky smile, bad boy type. No, he was perfect in the rare kind of way that doesn't show up in movies. The kind of man who opened car doors for me without making a big deal about it, who pulled out my chair at dinner, who called me 3, sometimes 4 times a day just to ask how I was. If I had a bad day at work, he knew exactly what to say to brighten my day. He noticed when I was quiet. He remembered small things, like the way I hated wet countertops or how I only ate the edges of toast. He never failed to put down the toilet seat. But instead of appreciating him, I started to feel embarrassed. It didn't happen all at once. It started with the group chats with my friends. They would complain about their partners, how loud they were, how assertive, how manly. They bragged about how their men took control, told them off during arguments, put them in their place, as they called it. Sarah didn't say anything, but we often saw the bruises that she tried to hide, so we knew her story. I remember one of them laughing and saying, "If my man ever opened the car door for me, I'd be suspicious." They didn't mean harm, but it got into my head. Suddenly, Charles's gentleness felt like weakness. When we argued, he never swore. He'd walk away to cool off instead of shouting back. That used to drive me mad. I wanted fire, passion, not silence. He was so calm, so predictable, so good, too good. So when he asked me to marry him on a weekend trip in a quiet garden full of fairy lights, I told him I needed time to think. The truth was, I didn't want to say yes. I knew I loved him, but something felt missing. The next morning, he asked me gently, "Have you thought about it?" And I couldn't keep lying. I told him the truth, that I didn't think we were compatible, that I felt he was too soft, too clingy, too gentle. I'll never forget the look on his face. He didn't argue. He just sat there, nodded, and left. Surprisingly, he didn't even ask for his ring back. That night, I cried. But I convinced myself I'd done the right thing, that I deserved something more exciting, more challenging. 2 weeks later, I started dating someone else. Over the next 8 months, I went through 4 failed relationships. The first one dumped me in front of my friends at a party, saying I wasn't stimulating enough. The second one ghosted me after 2 months. The third one cheated. And the fourth, he ruined my life. His name was Malik. He was everything Charles wasn't. Loud, bold, arrogant. He told me what to wear, who I could talk to, screened my calls, told me what time to get home. He never called to find out if I was okay or if I was having a good day. He called to demand where I was and why I hadn't called him all day. Honestly, I felt on edge. I thought it was passion, but it was control. And by the time I realized it, it was too late. He pressured me into helping him run an errand overseas for his friends. He promised me it was safe. Just a quick trip, deliver a bag. "It's good money," he said. The first time, it worked. I flew back with no issue. I was nervous, but relieved. I watched his friend pay him for what I'd done. I didn't see a penny of it. He kept it all. And then came the second trip. I got caught. Inside of the suitcase were packets of drugs, enough to land me in prison for up to 10 years. I was scared. My body went numb. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. I was arrested on the spot. I didn't even have money for a lawyer. Malik? He disappeared the second I called him from the detention center. Changed his number, blocked me on everything. I was alone and scared, thousands of miles from home in one of the most dangerous prisons in the world, facing charges I couldn't even understand. Meanwhile, Charles had moved on, or at least tried to. He'd been through months of therapy after our breakup. He started seeing someone new, But secretly, he still checked in on me, quietly, through mutual friends. He'd ask if I was okay. The day he found out I was locked up, he didn't sleep that night. At 3 a.m., Charles sat in front of his computer and created a GoFundMe page for me. He didn't tell anyone who I was, just wrote, "Help a young woman get the legal help she needs. She made a mistake, but she deserves a second chance." The page went viral. Donations poured in from all over. Strangers. None of these people knew me, but from the kindness of their hearts, they gave without knowing the whole story. In 2 weeks, he raised more than enough to hire a brilliant legal team. They managed to prove I was manipulated. My sentence was reduced to 6 months. And when I got out... Before I tell you what happened next, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. It could change their life. When I got out, I went straight to Charles. I stood at his doorstep, thinner, hollow-eyed, trembling. He answered with the same calm look he always had, still kind, still him. I told him everything. I cried. I told him I knew now what real love looked like. That it wasn't dominance or fire or chaos. It was someone who called just to check in, who walked away instead of screaming, who helped even after being hurt, realizing that I begged him, really begged him, to take me back. He paused for a long time, then he said, "I'll always care about you, but I can't love you the same way again. I gave you all of me once. I've built something new now. I'm finally happy, and I don't want to break that." I didn't fight, I just nodded and walked away. This time, I was the one watching someone I loved disappear. If you're lucky enough to have someone who's kind, who shows up, listens, respects you, don't mistake that for weakness. The world has enough noise, enough chaos. What it really needs is more people like Charles. I had him once, and I lost him, and I'll never make that mistake again. Thank you for watching My Story As It Is. If this story moved you, made you think, or opened your eyes, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And remember, sometimes the people we take for granted are the ones who love us the most. Until next time, take care and stay true to your story, just as it is.